All right. Hello and welcome to the Ramblestream. Turn my phone off here. The 69th episode of the Ramblestream on this, the 10th day of February, 2025. Let's take a quick look down here at sound is good. Very nice. Okay. Well, as I say, welcome. Thanks for your feedback on the sound. It has been a busy week for me, and we're going to report back here on all the happenings of the week and the weekend. But first, we'll do a little do our usual opening welcome. If this is your first time on the Ramblestream, tell us where you're viewing from. What's your let's see. What is the usual sequence of events is tell us where you're viewing from, what you ramble with, whether it's a four-wheeled, three-wheeled, two-wheeled, or single-hulled or multi-hulled vehicle or vessel. If it has 1, 2, 4, or 6 wings, the whole shebang. Tell us what you ramble with. And last but not least, tell us what you are sipping on this evening. So I'll go ahead and get started. My name is Richard Worsham, founder here at Janus Motorcycles. I am rambling with you all here from in Goshen, Indiana, from the fabrication shop, which we call TT. And I ramble with, I told you all last week that I'd tell you, I haven't mentioned my boats, so I'll list them as well. But a 2018, I believe, Halcyon 250, number 68, cream with gold pinstripe. And then also a Gen 2 Kawasaki KLR 650. Also tell us if you named your rambling machines. My motorcycles don't have names, but I also ramble with some boats, and I thought I would mention those. My primary vessel is a 1981 Mariner 19, which is a 19-foot sailboat, originally designed by Phil Rhodes in the late 50s, and then sold for many years by George O'Day of O'Day Boats until the 80s, when it was briefly sold by a company called Spindrift, which is my boat. It's a kind of a rare and notorious version of the Mariner 19, still made by a small company up in the Northeast. Great sailing community around it, great owners groups, and they have rallies they hold, which I'm hoping this summer to make it out to a rally. It's not a Mariner group. It's put on by some folks that have Mariners, but it's going to be put on by kind of an icon of mine, and kind of gave me the idea in some ways for the Rambler's Companion. His book is called The Dinghy Cruiser's Companion, and Roger Barnes, he's coming over to the U.S. He's the president of the Dinghy Cruising Association, and we've all pitched in to get him to come over to the States. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to make it over to the East Coast, Connecticut area, and do some sailing with him, as well as attend the Mystic Seaport Festival. We'll see. My boat needs some work before the sailing season. I also have a Nutshell, which is a very small wooden. By the way, the Mariner is a fiberglass boat. It's not a wooden boat. still a great vessel. And then I have a little wooden, I bought it 2 years ago, I think, hand-built nutshell, which is on the extreme small end of the spectrum. It will sail with me and used to sail with one of my daughters, but they might be getting too big for us both to be in it. I'll show you some pictures in a minute. And then I recently, just in the last month, sold a Penguin, which I had was a 12-foot boat. Little boat designed by Phil Rhodes, the same guy who designed the Mariner in the 30s. And so the sailboat collection is kind of a little smaller than it has been, which is probably a good thing. That's what I ramble on the water with. And if you all have some sailboats, list them up in the comments. I'm sipping on some of the Rambler's Reserve. I've still got a little bit left. Cheers to all of y'all. We'll take a look at some comments here. Let's see. We got the first comment is from a friend of the stream, Riggedy Alps. Good evening from snow-covered Massachusetts. Rich here with Halcyon 450 number 234 Cheyenne and 95th anniversary Wide Glide Spirit. Having a root beer by the wood stove and anticipating tonight's Ramblestream. Schlancha. Nice. Right back at you. Innate ARB, fellow ham on Halcyon 450 number 331 and Halcyon 250 number 569, planning the next ride. Fantastic. It's been a little frozen up here, literally. As I'll tell you all, I told you all I was going to go out to Las Vegas for the end of last week and the weekend. And when I got back to the car at the airport, it took me like 15 minutes just to get into the car. It was completely covered in about 1/8 of an inch of ice everywhere. I had to chip it away. So it's cold up here as well. Joel Yanda is on. Hello from Kansas City. Old Man 1 here with Halcyon 450 number 218 and Griffin 450 number 1, rough and ready, drinking hot coffee. Richard, I can't wait to hear about the Vegas trip. Yes. Well, I will be filling you all in with a classic Ramblestream slideshow. Dave Bowen, another dear friend of the stream, sitting in snowy Seattle with 450 number 41, wondering if it's okay to go out to the garage, sit on the bike, and make vroom vroom noises. Just asking. It is absolutely okay. If that's what if that suffices. Charles McGahagan, Olaf from the Maryland Eastern Shore, rambling with Phoenix number 30 and Halcyon 250 number 454, dreaming of Griffin 450 number 4. They are unveiling BDR Southeast on 1st of March. Very nice. Interesting. I'll be sure to update us with that. Bob Benstead, Sturgis, South Dakota, sipping on some OJ. A friend asked if he could borrow my Halcyon 450, so I did. Wow, that's very generous of you. So as of now, I only have a 2025 Himalayan 450. Wow. How's the weather out there, Bob? Multifaria says, attending from Nebraska alongside a Zero Coke and number 1067 250 Halcyon known as Kingfisher. Good to see you, Multifarious. Eric Green from Vancouver, Washington, Outlaw, number 859, Halcyon 250, drinking water. He says, is anyone going to Sturgis this year besides me? I'll post it up there if you're going. Robert Bosco. Hi, Richard. I'm planning on visiting you guys. What is the date of your factory gathering? I'll be coming out with my Iron Goddess. Be well and stay warm. Yes. The date of which one? We're doing Discovery Days this year. So the Discovery Day dates are March. Here we go. This is the whole list. March 29th, April 26th, May 24th, June 21st, July 12th, and August 23rd. So those are all available. You can check those all out on our website. Just look under. Let's see. It's under next steps. We've just recently updated our website, and it is smoking fast. But if you would like to check that out, it's now under next steps right at the top, and go down, and it's under Janus test rides and factory tours. We still call them Discovery Days. However, if you mean the owners rally, which is late in the summer, then our owners rally, which I encourage all of you all to attend, is going to be, what is the date for this? It is September 19th through 21st. And my goal this year is to switch it up. I want it to be a little bit different. So I haven't told everybody else yet that, but we want to keep it new and fresh. So we're certainly looking forward to it. But I would encourage you, if you're planning on coming out and looking at the bikes, check out one of our discovery days as well. And of course, you don't have to wait for Discovery Day. We welcome folks anytime to come and test ride a bike, get a tour of the factory. Anytime, just give us a call or an email, and we can make it happen. So there you go, Robert. Straw Dog, John, I'm in New Hampshire. Halcyon 250 number 769, sipping Three Floyds, a local to us brew. Grant is on Griffin 250 number 1, Goshen, Indiana, drinking seltzer and working on tidying everything up for corporate taxes. Cheers to you, my friend. That's the solid good work that makes this ship go round. Keep going. Rev Free Moto, good evening. Jonathan in, let's see if I can find where his second part of his comment. Here we go. Troy, Virginia. Possibly taking delivery of Halcyon 450 number 351 this week. He also has a Harley Lowrider ST, and he's sipping decaf coffee with collagen. Good for the skin, I hear. We'll go back up here in the comments. We got Gary Smith from East Lansing, Michigan, with his laundry list of Janus bikes: Halcyon 50 number 11, Halcyon 250 number 79, Halcyon 450 number 3, Phoenix 250 number 79, Griffin 250 number 163, a 1972 Triumph Trident, a 1980 Honda CM200, a 1990 Harley-Davidson 883 Sportster, and 2 Urals, I think, but he says a 2017 Europe, unless he's sold one of them. And he's sipping on Diet Dr. Pepper. Good to see you, Gary. Fernando is on from Panama City, Florida. Halcyon 250 number 1155. Drinking some apple and cinnamon tea and enjoying a little of the warm weather. I'm sure you are down there. Slade Franklin. That's a new name on the stream. Howdy from California. I've got Halcyon 450 number 320. Went for a nice cruise today. Working on a Dr. Pepper. Hello, and my apologies if I don't recognize that name, but I don't think I do. Welcome to the Ramblestream. Dan Rademski, Halcyon 450 number 234, plain water, Leicester, North Carolina. Anyone interested in a turquoise Halcyon 450? I love this bike, but I can't take it with me. Moving to another country. Well, I'm torn. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm also excited to hear what you're doing. That sounds like an adventure. That sounds like a ramble. So congratulations on that exciting news. And of course, if you all are interested in a beautiful bike he's definitely broken it in for you, then get a hold of Dan or get a hold of us and we can put you in touch with him. Cheers, Dan, to adventure. Harrison Monick is on from Richmond, Virginia, drinking some Lagunitas hoppy refresher, and making some chili. I could use some. I am starving right now. It's been a long day. It's been a long weekend, and I'm pretty tired. If you haven't caught on, it was an early morning this morning, and I'm hanging in there. Ben Ferrer, hello from San Francisco, Halcyon 450 number 43. And he's drinking a Manhattan. Very nice, sir. Very nice. David Watkins, greetings from North Central West Virginia. Halcyon 450 number 220, drinking Constant Comment hot tea. Old school. I see nothing or hear nothing. Well, you're late. You're late. Or you're not late, but you're too early to the stream. I hadn't started yet. I imagine. Grant says, sad news, Dan. Yes, sad for the bike and for your rambling on a Janus, but I hope exciting for you. Daniel Hood, getting tired of winter here in CNY. Dan, 450, number 157, checking in, drinking polar blackberry seltzer. Nice. Dan says, sounding great. Yeah, appreciate it all, guys. And Dan, wherever you move, once a Janusian, always a Janusian. So I hope you can continue to join the stream and also put another rambling machine in your stable wherever you travel to. Straw Dog says, sound is great. Good. Thank you all. Low Fat by Nature. Hi from Southwest Michigan. Halcyon 250, number 1131, Mutt, sipping red tea with honey. Oh, I didn't give you the names of my. Well, I'll give you the names of my boat. The boats are, of course, named. You can't sail. You can't ride them. Really, I should have these. I keep saying this, but you can't sail a boat without having a name, and you can't. You shouldn't ride a motorcycle without having a name. By my own lesson, I don't follow. Russell Peters, Detlef, 450, number 86, Owensboro, Kentucky, Earl Grey, 1962, 88 SS Norton, 71 CB 350, and 72 CB 500, and a 74 CB 550. Awesome. Old School says, good now. That was strange. I think you dialed in during the beginning, my opening slide for the show. Spencer Anderson with Halcyon 250, number 1123. No imagination, so I named it Bob. Great. Drinking a Topo Chico, water imported from Mexico. That had to be an amazing bit of salesmanship. It's like, what do they call it? Liquid death. That's amazing marketing right there. Water in a can. Semtech 57. Hey all, John here in Rancho Cucamonga with Halcyon 250, number 1148, Casimir with a 7-Up light or whatever. She's watching my sugar. I picked up a Suzuki K10 for super cheap and hope to get it running for summer. Wonderful. Motard, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Yamaha FZ6 and Griffin 250 164 sipping coffee. Did the first oil change and valve adjustment on Sunday. Wonderful. So simple. One question, do the tires need to be balanced? I see no wheel weights. That's a great question. We do not balance the tires. We've not found any need to do so. Some folks, I think, on this stream have, just to make them perfect. But we really work on balancing the wheels with, truing the wheels, I'll say, not balancing them, so that they really don't need to be balanced. There's your answer. You could have them balanced or statically balance them yourselves if you want them to be absolutely perfect, but I have never found the need for that in my riding. I do have weights on some of my bikes, my KLR, heavier wheels, and I actually didn't have that. I bought it used, and they were balanced, and I had them checked out, and it runs good too. So we do not use weights on our wheels. We really focus on. We have a Brent here at the shop, and one of his jobs, apart from pinstriping, is mounting tires and tubes, and then making sure that the wheels are absolutely perfectly true. And he's an expert, ex-bicycle, used to work for Santa Cruz assembling wheels. So our wheels are good. So you do not need to have them balanced unless you are a perfectionist. Fernando says, one question. Who is the welder raccoon under the seat of my 250? Yes, good question. There's some Easter eggs on the bikes. You will only find that on the 250 Janus bikes. And that's because I'll just say it's a reference to our weld shop. We want to kind of give a little cred to the Amish shop that welds up all of our 250 frames. A little Easter egg. Tell me if you know what goes on a 450, and tell me if you know why. James Pohl, James in Denton, Texas, Halcyon 250, number 71. He's drinking a Shinerbach. Good to see you, James. Michael Webster, howdy from Horton, Michigan, 990 Adventure KTM. Wonderful. Good bikes. I have not ridden in that. I've ridden an 1190, but not the 990. I've also ridden some of the smaller ones, like a 390. Old School says, yes, Fernando. There's a raccoon logo under your seat. The Amish fabricator of those nice springs. Dan Rademsky says, I'll be looking for a boat to ply the waters of the Adriatic. All right. Okay. I don't think you have anything to be too sad about. Wonderful. That's exciting. Mitchell Starks says, hello from Middle Tennessee. Goldwing Roadsmith trike, waiting for my Halcyon 450 number 374, sipping on a little King's Cream Ale. Well, congratulations and welcome to the Ramblestream, Mitchell. Friend of the shop, not just friend of the stream. Pete Marino, 450 Halcyon number 156 with a sidecar, 250 Griffin number 58, and a 450 Griffin number 6. How's it going, Pete? Hope you're doing well and managing to put some miles down despite this weather. Old School says, Dan, look for Noah's Ark. And Michael says, Aristocrat 12-foot Typhoon. Great boat. Nice. Good. I'm glad you're listing your boats. Howdy from Steve Q says, howdy from Hurst, Texas. Riding Halcyon 250 number 988, Halcyon 450 number 304, and sailing a 16-foot Smart Cat catamaran. I'm not familiar with the Smart Cat, but that sounds like a lot of fun. Charles Selman from San Francisco having a Cavalan single malt today. Griffin 250 number 124 Aurelius, and number 82 Dr. John. Good to see you, Charles. Harrison says, I did an artist residency in Penobscot Bay in Maine on a schooner, and it took us up to the wooden boat school. Wonderful. It's such a special place to pull into the little lagoon filled with handmade wooden boats. One of these days, I want to make it up there. I have a feeling I will. My brother is thinking about moving up that way. He's a wooden boat builder. Keith says, Halcyon 706 in North New York, sipping Cabernet Sauvignon. There he's back to the wine. He's back to the wine. Bob says, buy, not borrowed. I sold it. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Sold it. So down to the RE. Vaughn Spruitt says, got my new Griffin in Santa Cruz. Love it. I still ramble in my single hull Scamp, which he sent me pictures of, which I'm not going to share pictures of your Scamp without your permission, but a Scamp is it might be the coolest micro cruiser ever designed. You can build them yourself. It's a tiny cuddy cabin cruiser that you can do some pretty serious sailing with, but I don't know. How long is a Scamp? They're very small. Look them up. Look up, and what is SCAMP stands for Small Craft Advisory. It was a design published in the Small Craft Advisory. Fantastic little design. I've considered building one. They're really neat. Innate ARB says, I borrowed a monohull fiberglass day sailor several summers in my teens. That boat would move, and it was great. Yes, that's also if the day sailor is the name of that would be a O-day as well. Grant's got a smiley face. Nice. Mark Gallistol, good evening. Picked up a copy of your book. Good to hear. Good to hear. Corporate taxes. Whatever happened to being able to keep what you earned? Gary says, where can I buy some of that Rambler's Reserve? Oh, you can buy it from here. I'll show you. Wolfert Reserve. Go to their website. Just type in Wolfert Reserve Craft Distillery. They're out on the West Coast, and they sell this. I think they have some other interesting packages of whiskey. This is a pretty basic whiskey. I mean, it's not nothing fancy in terms of like all the different flavorings that some people want to put in it, but appropriate for a Halcyon. Classic, let's just say. Not a bourbon, but a good, fairly new bourbon whiskey. Innate RB says, online, but can't get it shipped to Michigan. Thinking about starting a bootleg operation. Oh, you can't get it shipped to Michigan? Oh, wonder if there's some kind of rules there, huh? Gary says, Richard, I sold the 2015 Ural to buy the Griffin 250 163 today. All right, there you go. Congratulations, Gary. I heard that we sold a bike. I didn't know. Wow. Okay. Wonderful. Congrats. But you sold it today at least. Okay. Mark says, Hello, recently picked up a copy of the Rambler's Companion. Your site was fresh out, so I managed to find one at Amazon. Have yet to crack the cover, though, but will on the upcoming weekend. That means I need to add to my list here before I forget that I need to order some more for the site. Let's just go ahead and do that. Thank you. Okay. Thanks, Mark. Omar S. Gonzalez. Hello from Laredo, Texas. Hello, Omar. He's joining us from Facebook, and welcome to the Ramblestream. Gary says, I'll take orders for the Ramblers Reserve and go down and pick it up for people that are in Michigan. I'm retired now, so I have the time. Mo, and we'd love to have you down. Just have it shipped to us. Brain fog tonight. That's a new one. Hello, everyone. Johnny from Central Mississippi. Halcyon 450 number 296. Just got back from my daily Janus fix. Love, love, love this motorcycle. Well, that's a great comment to get. Wonderful. We'll leave that one up there for a minute. I'm glad you like it. Central Mississippi. So you're probably decent weather down there. Grant says they won't ship into Indiana either, I don't think. Oh, interesting. He says ironic. Interesting. Jansen says howdy, 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 everyone. Good to see you, Jansen. Jansen has been posting some really new videos for us. So if you follow us on, I don't know if they're on YouTube. They probably are, but definitely on Instagram, some shorts talking about rambling. So follow us on Instagram and other places, and you'll see those. It's me very, 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 very informally talking about. So far, I think we've talked about fun number 1 and fun number 2. So look for more of those as well. He's bringing some new flavor to our marketing. Good to see you, Jansen. Omar says, don't have a Janus yet, but will soon. Love to hear it. It's the alcohol control laws, so corrupt. Yeah. It's got our name on it, and we can't even buy it here. There you go, Grant. Gary wants to know where we can pick up the Ramblers Reserve from. I actually did not know that you couldn't get it in Michigan or Indiana, so I don't have an answer for you. I'll look into that. Fernando says, my bike is still nameless. I have not yet reached the point into the relationship where a name will be bestowed on it. I buy it. I buy that. That's fair enough. Fair enough. Me either. I have some names in the back of my head, but I don't know if they're appropriate. Old School says, question, status on new gravity battery. Oh, yeah. Anti-gravities? Yeah, we're selling them. So we have them. I don't know if they're fully in stock right now, but we are all new Janus motorcycles are shipping, unless they've been sitting for a while. Their new builds are shipping with anti-gravity batteries. I've gotten some questions about the anti-gravity batteries, and I can say that so far they seem like they're an upgrade. The benefits are that they have a lot of cold cranking amps, and that the battery, the BMS, the battery management system, which is means that it will shut the battery down if it's over discharged or overcharged. It doesn't seem to trigger as erratically or quickly as the Earth X's, which seem to be the problem with those. It also has a unique function, which they call the jump start function, which means that if it is discharged to the point where it's losing voltage, it will actually shut down, and it'll shut down right. But how do I say this? It will shut down and it will retain enough charge so that if you reset it, you can still start the bike, which I think it's kind of like a reserve in your fuel tank. So far so good. We're impressed. They're a very good battery. I talked to them actually at AIMExpo. Okay, we have got lots and lots of comments. I'm going to stop here and before we talk about the turtle, and we'll do a little. We'll talk about AIMExpo and the One Show out in Las Vegas. So, I didn't read the poem yet. It shouldn't be a long one. It's been a long week. Back to friend of the stream, Mr. Richard Wilbur. This is from his anthology. This is called The Poems of Richard Wilbur, originally published 1963. So it's an older one. And I thought, kind of building off of last week's poem, this one's called Mind Country. Mind Country by Richard Wilbur. They have gone into the gray hills quilled with birches, drag now their cannon up the chill mountains, but it's going to be a long before their war's gone for good. I tell you, it hits at childhood more than churches, full up with sky or buried town fountains, rooms laid open or anything, cut stone or cut wood, seeing the boys come swinging slow over the grass, like playing pendulum, their silver plates, stepping with care and listening hard for hid metal's cry. It's rightly called chaste belphobie. Some would miss, some calendar colts at Kentucky gates, but the remotest would guess that some scheme's gone awry. Danger is sunk in the pastures, the woods are sly, ingenuity's covered with flowers. We thought woods were wise, but never implicated, never involved. Cows in mid-munch go splattering over the sky. Roses like brush whores smile from bowers. Shepherds must learn a new language. This isn't going to be quickly solved. Sunshiny field grass, the wood's floor, are so mixed up with earliest trusts, you have to pick back far past all you have learned to go disinherit the dumb child. Tell him to trust things alike and never to stop emptying things, but not let them lack love in some manner restored. To be sure, the whole world's wild. A somber one. Okay, let's talk about the trip. If it'll go. Here we are. All right. So first off, here are the boats. This is my Mariner. So this is the Mariner 19. Its name is Grebe. Not because grebes dive quickly, but because it's a small bird, aquatic bird. It is the blue boat, not the big white one. This was a trip I made about 3 or 4 years ago, probably now, down from the northern tip of Michigan. Let's see if y'all can, from Little Traverse Bay down into Big Traverse Bay, about 3 or 4 days and back up again. And this is in a little marina in Northport, Michigan, and dwarfed by all the other boats in the marina. We just stopped briefly to go and get some provisions. It's a Mariner, bought cheap and restored, and there she is down at the far end with a bunch of other Mariners on the. This is on the Connecticut River. And then this is the little nutshell on the extreme small end of the spectrum, built by a instrument maker, a luthier, and the stern, the transom is actually made out of wood that was originally designed to be guitar necks, and its name is Croissant. And I couldn't change the name. It was I bought her when she was named Croissant. I kept the name. And last but not least, this is one I recently sold, just actually a month or so ago. This is the Penguin, originally a fiberglass wooden boat designed by the same guy who designed the Mariner. And I had the same paint So painted the same color. And it's a little frostbiting boat originally designed for racing in the winter on the Potomac River. Quite a quick racing dinghy for its time. And I have two sails. This one was stained, but I also had another sail. Wooden mast. That's why I bought it. It had a wooden mast. But there you have it. So let's talk a little bit about AIM and the trip out to Las Vegas. The AIMExpo is the biggest power sports industry show in the U.S. It's where it really mainly caters to motorcycle dealerships, but there are a lot of people from the OEMs and just the industry kind of collects around this. And this year was the first year that they decided to have the one motorcycle show, or the one show, at the same time and place as this event, which I thought was a really wonderful pairing, so that we could all kind of gather in one place and celebrate all things motorcycle. From Janus, we had four, or really three folks, and our delivery expert Kyle. So we had four Janus folks there. Scott, our supply chain director, and Bill, our buyer, both went, and then I went for the last day, or the next to last day of the AIMExpo and the whole one motorcycle show. This is this crazy motorcycle. I can't even remember what it was called. I think it's all made in China, but it's this massive V-twin, and it had a gear shift, like a suicide shifter on the side, but I think the thing was a CVT. Wildest thing. We all thought it was a funny, an interesting motorcycle that we all were interested in. And this is the Royal Enfield Flying Flea, which some of you all, if you're familiar with the, let me see if I can find a better picture of it. I'm going to skip around a little bit. There it is. So this is Royal Enfield's latest. It's an electric motorcycle from Royal Enfield, and it references the famous Flying Flea Royal Enfield that was developed for, I believe, the Second World War, as a very small motorcycle. It has a girder front fork. Look at that. And apparently this is what they're going into production with. They didn't have specs on top speed or range. But I thought it was really, really, really well executed. The girder front end, of course, captured my imagination. But if you're going to do an electric, I always get so tired of these bikes that they look like there's something out of the future, or some kind of imaginary, futuristic, brutalist motorcycles. And so this one, kind of a welcome change, with its saddle seat, clear, nice narrow fenders, just clearly a motorcycle. Round headlight, just all the things that make it a motorcycle. So I'm very interested to see what the specs on this bike are. Yeah, interesting. Look at that little primary drive on the side, gear reduction, belt drive. But overall, really well done. Of course, there's the leading link. Of course, all the other big OEMs were there. This is the Suzuki, big Suzuki. What is this? A DR? I don't know what this is. Big ADV. This is actually a rally bike that was raced. They had it there. Unlike Kawasaki, they didn't have it all with all the mud and dirt from the rally like Kawasaki does, but fun to see. The new Zero e-bikes. So they had two different sizes, a really small one and this one. Exciting to see. And then look at this Leafon. This is a Chinese, funkiest looking dual sport bike. Very interesting. There's that Flying Flea again. Brembo is there. You can see some familiar looking components. Certainly many of these look very familiar if you have a 450. Some other great builds. This is a Royal Enfield Custom. Lots of custom motors. A lot of these bikes that were at the show went over to the one motorcycle show afterwards. This is called a sand surfer. It's basically a giant wheel with like a lawnmower engine attached to the front and a single handlebar or grip on a little stick, and you can rip around on it. It's like one foot goes on the front. It's like a snowboard, but it has wheels. One foot on the front, one on the back, and a little gas tank. Wild. This is a custom Yamaha built by our friend David Chang. He actually was he got us into the One Show. He has a Janus 450 that he's been carting around for different events. You would be familiar with him from the Instagram page, Cafe Racers of Instagram. Very, very famous, well-known cafe racer promoter. This is a bike he built for the One Show, for a project of his own. This is a little electric. There were tons of electric motorcycles. A lot of Chinese bikes. This one's actually from Canada. It's called Beachman, and I'm featuring these ones because they look like motorcycles, unlike a lot of the other ones. Beachman's out of Toronto, I believe, and it's basically a little CB 125 chassis with an electric motor. It's a very small team. I spoke with one of the founders for quite some time. Super friendly guy, and really reminded me of Janus, like, I don't know, 8 years ago. 8 employees. They're building them. They are buying a lot of these parts in from overseas. I think everything, but in some ways similar to what we do here, just not with all the handmade locally. They're piecing these together, but a neat brand. Definitely in the moped category. And I don't use that word technically. I'm using it in the sense that it's a under 20 mile per hour vehicle that you can unlock them, but they do not need a license plate. Fun to talk to them. Here we are loading in at the One Show. So I spent the day walking around the AIMExpo, met a lot of potential suppliers from the US and around the globe. We met with brake and oil line suppliers, which we're excited with. We make, as you know, all of our own oil lines, and we're excited to not do that in the future. So as we scale up, looking at some external vendors for that, wheel suppliers, lighting, CNC component supplier, just a very, very, very productive tires, opportunity to just meet people. So very successful. Anyway, here we are loading into the One Show. You get a photograph when you go in, and we're right behind Buell. So that's the new Buell. I don't know even what you call it. It's like a power cruiser being made right up the road in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So we got to speak with them and quite a bit about the new bike. That is one of very few prototypes. They're not in production yet. So it was amazing to see all the parts that come off of old Buells. You know, Scott, who I showed you that picture earlier, our supply chain director, worked for many, many years under Eric Buell and was pointing at all the components that are actually straight off of an old Buell, that are still being used. It was really, really neat. So it's good to talk to them. And here we are setting up. That's Kyle setting up the bike for its photo shoot in front of the One Show backdrop, getting photographed. And there we all are. There's the Janus team. Kyle here on the right, Bill, our buyer, Scott, underneath the sign, and of course yours truly. It was held at the Western Hotel Casino, old kind of rundown bingo hall on Fremont in Las Vegas. Very, very Vegas feel. Perfect for a motorcycle show. We had a great time. Here we are with all the other bikes. We were in the ADV section, so we had KTMs and BMWs and Husqvarnas and a Janus Griffin 450. Thank you, Joel Yanda. So Joel is here in the comments, and this is his bike. He was very gracious to allow us to show his bike there. Custom Motorcycle Royalty. This is Dustin Cott and a new Triumph bike that he built. Absolutely gorgeous. Every single detail is just immaculate. Got to hang out with him for quite some time. We were featured, I want to say, maybe not quite 10 years ago, with him and 2 other builders in the Wall Street Journal in an article on cafe racers. And he's kind of the king of cafe racers. He's been doing it for many, 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 many years. and just one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And he won the whole show with this bike. I thought this one was good to show you all. This is a Greaves chassis. So Greaves are famous, of course, as a dual sport, or really a dirt bike, an early scrambler with a leading link suspension. They were famous for that. This is a really neat one. This is called a Grumpy because it's a Greaves with a Triumph engine. Kind of like in that Triumph, the Trident, where it's a Triumph engine in a Norton, a Triton in a Norton chassis. So a neat mashup. There's a close-up of the leading link, which you'll notice how it kicks up at the back, just like the Griffin 450 to provide clearance. And this one just blew me away. So it looks like a kind of Shinya Kimura, all hand-formed aluminum bike. But the crazy thing is the scale of this motor. I wish I had put something in this picture to show you the scale. This thing is like 2.5 feet long. That's a weed eater, chainsaw engine, probably like 20 or 30 cc with this incredible expansion chamber. Everything works. It has working brakes, handlebars, everything. Just the coolest little bike. I mean, you can't probably ride it. I mean, maybe you can. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you built it, you're going to have to try and ride it. But, 2.5, 3 feet long. Really, really neat. And then just some vintage bike. This is an old Harley rear fender with a leather mud flap and all bejeweled and decorated. That wonderful patina on the paint. This is the speedometer. I just couldn't help but take a picture of that. Look at the patina on that speedometer. And this is a new, not crazy old KTM that's been decked out to look like it's some kind of Mad Max machine. Those are the same panniers that are on my Halcyon 250 Tusk panniers. It's got a Bowie knife across the windscreen and all manner of craziness going on here. Metal fenders, etc. And this is probably the wackiest build that was there. This is a Yamaha 3-cylinder that the entire front end of the, I don't know if you can see this in this picture. The entire front end is on a leaf spring. So the whole front of the bike can go like this. And I imagine it can probably also go like this. I don't know how sketchy it is to ride, but really, really neat. And then of course, that fender that stretches all the way from the back all the way to the front is actually a dual axle trailer fender. Very original. And then on the top of that, it was kind of like a poem that talks about how it's made, all hand painted. Impressive. Some beauty shots of some choppers that were there. Lots of neat bobbers. This is a bike that's been featured in some magazines recently. I got to speak with the builders of this. They're based in Salt Lake City. He works out of his garage. Beautiful aluminum work, and he's actually a Bosch engineer. So it's all run off of German electronics, and the whole thing lights up. You can't tell, but I don't have any pictures, but the entire logo lights up, the whole side panels light up, and the exhaust system is just like that logo lights up, and that piece of white down there is all, and you can change the color. Pretty cool. And all hand formed aluminum. Beauty shot of the Griffin from below. A neat little Cub Honda. Somebody completely redid the front end. Look at that speedometer all hopped up. Here's the Griffin again with all the dual sports, a Husqvarna, BMW, and that's that other BMW down there. And this is on the far right. You can't really see it. It's a Royal Enfield that's been modernized. Got lots and lots of attention. Really, really fun. This is the other side of that BMW with the intakes. Land speed bike, the hunched over. This is just immaculately built. Japanese team put this together. I think that the top speed on this thing is 266 miles an hour is what they were clocked at. You can see where your leg goes. Really high tech stuff. A classic Triumph bobber. Really nice. And then people were asking, well, what's your favorite? If you could take one bike at the show, what would it be? And I said, I think it'd be this Ducati 450 single MS Desmo. This is a 1974. Look at that thing. Just gorgeous. I'm a sucker for a stock bike. So that's what I want right there. Look at that engine. Gorgeous. 450. A little bit of cracking in the original fiberglass seat cowling. Kyle has a massive collection of mini bikes, so he's drooling over this tiny little chopper made out of a little Trail 70. I don't know what it is. And then this is a belly tanker. If you hear the big old, incredibly engineered Harley-Davidson powered belly tanker, four-wheeled motorcycle, they described it, built by a master builder. Every single piece on that bike was just done perfectly. Then we visited some local garages in Las Vegas. This is a local garage, just beautifully lit, really stunning. This is their test bench, their dyno, really neat. And this is a whole team of us that we got to hang out there. So funny story, my brother-in-law works for Livewire. That's him, Greg, down here in the middle. I met him 2017 or 16. He had a motorcycle shop down in Raleigh, North Carolina called Devolve, as he's wearing the Devolve hat. I met him years before he met my sister-in-law. So we knew each other before they did. Dave Chang here from Cafe Races of Instagram in the black stocking cap, and a new friend, Fred, another motorcycle sales guy from the West Coast. And of course our own Kyle. And we had a good time and made lots of friends over the weekend. And then we also bought a motorcycle. We picked up this little 50cc bike for $180. The company was at the AIMExpo and they didn't want to take it home, so they sold it to us for $180. So couldn't help but say no to that, or say yes to that. And some more fun pictures. There's the location, classic looking Las Vegas. Dustin had 3 bikes, I think, at the show, at least 2. I think this is my favorite custom. This is a CL350 Honda. Just absolutely stunning. But actually, is this a CL? Maybe it's even smaller. It's a CL, but it's a tiny one. But look at the metalwork on this bike. Look at that. And they lined up the velocity stack for the carb with the exhausts. Really, really, really well done. And you've heard of number plates, right? Pedestrian slicers like you have on a Janus. This bike has a modern, souped-up sport bike Ducati with a pedestrian slicer on the front. It didn't have any numbers on it, but it was kind of neat to see. Oh, and this is the exhaust on that BMW that I was talking about that lit up. Look at that exhaust. Absolutely incredible. These custom builders. A new Zero scooter. Didn't know they were doing that. This has not come out yet. This is coming out in the coming months. Some cool hand metal work on a Harley Davidson, pinstriping. Great bobber with a knucklehead. Beautiful engine. Simpson helmets was there. Pinstriping helmets. Some choppers. Riding around in the van. We didn't have enough seats, so we were sitting on bikes in the back. Mama Tried motorcycle show was there with some. I got a good cool shot here of another knucklehead. More exhausts, custom built exhaust. There's that little mini chopper. This is the front of that belly tanker. Look at that. I mean, just so much going on. Then we got to go see Count Customs, which is a famous TV show custom shop in Las Vegas. It was pretty cool to see the inside. We got to tour it. A hearse. I'm not sure what that is, but and then this was really neat. I had this Hot Wheels car as a child, 1932 Ford Roadster. This is the car they actually based the Hot Wheels car on. This one right here. thought that was really neat to see. Classic. Some more classic cars in there. Dingy cocktail bars. Here's a shot of the awards are being handed out. It's packed. Not as big as the one motorcycle show up in Portland, which is a huge motorcycle show, but this is the first year they've done it along with AIM, and I hope they can continue to do so. It was nice, again, to get everybody together at the same time, make friends, meet new people. Really neat. So a couple of bikes here at the end. Here, Kyle and I are posing with Dustin Cott, who won the show with this bike. Again, just what a great guy, hanging out with him. And there's the venue. There's the venue at the end of the party. And then, of course, I was wearing a T-shirt out there, and here I am flying back into Fort Wayne, Indiana, and realizing that I'm back into the middle of winter and the cold of the northern Midwest. So there we have it. I'm almost out of time, but we'll see if I can look at some last comments here before we go. John says, I know there is a decal of a turtle on the back of my Halcyon 450 oil tank, but not sure why. That references where it is made here at the Turtle Top plant. This used to be the Turtle Top plant, and so we have the turtle with the number 2 on it. The Deuce Crew, as they call themselves down here. So let's see if I can find a good backdrop to show you all while we'll leave it on that one. It's a good picture. Tom Lathrop is on. Greetings from Burlington, Wisconsin. Halcyon 250 number 1008. Griffin 250 number 149. Sailboats. Westerly Centaur 26. Oh, a Lightning. Nice. A Trinket 10. And he's sipping on water. Wonderful. Chandler Beatty. Better late than never. Absolutely. Cheers. Cheers. Got to finish my whiskey before I finish. The Ramblestream. Keith Haywood says, I've only named one motorcycle so far. My boss told me that my first Triumph would surely kill me. Surely carried me more than 100,000 miles, and I'm still here. Very nice. Michael Webster, the Aristocraft got sold. I meant to say yes ago. Aristocraft God. I'm not sure what you mean. Von Sprit says Scamp is 11 foot 11 inches long. It's tiny. John Garrance, I know there's the decal on the back of the oil tank. I answered that one. Slade says, I found the turtle on the oil tank of the 450. No clue on the story behind it. Well, now you know. Michael Webster, coolest Aristocraft got sold years ago, I meant to say, but it was the coolest looking boat. Well, there you go. Jeff Blind, our own Jeff Blind from the Fab Shop, 2018 Halcyon 250 number 87. I ramble with Janus bikes, Subaru Outback. And I was talking to him for a while. He's got big dreams for his Outback and dreaming about rambling in my 1989 5.0 Mustang once it's back together. He's had that since he was in high school. Sipping on a Diet Mountain Dew. Good to see you, Jeff. Cindy Ramos Isukanyunto. Hello from Laredo, Texas. Hope to get a Janus soon. Cheers. Welcome to the Ramblestream, Cindy. John Garrett says, I know there is a decal of a turtle. Okay, we're getting repeat. Sometimes it does that. Jansen says, they're everywhere. Russell Peters, I need a distributor. Middleman setup. Oh, there we go. The turtle is an homage to Turtle Top, now known as TT Fabrication Shop. Dan knows. Straw Dog 1, 769 has just acquired its name, Earl Blau. Nice. Lo-Fi says, I think that RE Flying Flea is the first electric bike I like the vibe of. I agree. I completely agree. It's a neat, it feels like it's well executed. The whole concept is done completely. It doesn't look like it's masquerading as something else. I don't know. I mean, and the girder front end is cool. Okay, the Beachman is the second. Well, I met with this crew from Maving too. They didn't have a bike there. Maving is another electric company that's out of UK, and I met with their manager. He was touring around there, and if you haven't checked out Maving, Maeving, they're also one of the better looking electric bikes. They're not trying to, they look like they're trying to look like a motorcycle. Lo-Fi Maving RM1S. Oh, there we go. You beat me to it, Riggedy. Is a nice looking Emoto too, in my opinion. Yes. These folks. Yeah, check it out. Su'um on Islam. Thumbs up. Walt Siegel was the other. Oh, Walt Siegel was the other on the Wall Street Journal story. Walt Siegel is a very well-known custom builder he really focuses more on performance. So he'll take Ducatis and turn them into race bikes, like stock ones, and they look beautiful too. I think he focuses on sort of like an endurance racing style Baldur motorcycles. Very high level of fit and finish. Joel says, I might be biased, but that is a good looking bike. You're not biased. I mean, you are, but you're right. You're also right. Eric Green, that you? That was Eric Green up there. Joel says, and I wasn't talking about the Buell. No, I agree. Riggedy says, Grant, you and I are the same wavelength. Eric Green, is Janus going to Portland, Oregon, the One Motor Show? I entered Outlaw in it. Oh, I hope so. I'd love to go. We'll see. And yeah, do tell us if you got in with your bike, because that would be really neat. Because your bike, Eric, if you know anyone has seen his bike, it's absolutely wild, and you absolutely should enter it. And I'm sure they'll let you in with that bike, not just because it's a Janus. Spencer says, do you know when the Janus gas caps will be available again? Should be soon. We're working on it. Our engraver's down, but we will have it up soon. We've been talking about it. I don't have a clear answer for you though. Eric has not heard if he's been accepted yet. Old School says, nice show, Richard. Thanks from Richard. Well, thank you, Old School Richard. Old School says, the Harley Livewire, very good looking electric, expensive. Yes, you are right. Mark says, neat and weird bikes. Love it. Yeah, it was a bunch of funky machines and a lot of fun. Grant says, we're working through the backlog with a new engraver. Yes, that's on in terms of the fuel caps. You can order one now. There you go. Thank you, Grant. Innate ARB says, if you go to Portland, you could bring back some product. Nice. Grant says, it may be a minute before you get it, but put your order in. Well, there you go. There you go, folks. So, all right. Well, thank you all. I'm smack dab on time. I'm ready to go get some dinner, and I'm sure you all are as well. So, depending on your time zone. Thank you very much for joining this evening, and I will be back for episode number 70 next Monday. Till then, happy rambling. Bye-bye.